You craned your neck to see over the small crowd of people, and you managed to catch a glimpse of the table. A young man was already seated, his legs crossed primly, his chin resting ever so delicately against his hand. Oh, fuck. And there's the wedding planner. Seem familiar? I think some introductions are to be required. Swept hair and tailored suits spoke a level of care and attention to details. In the reddish light of the evening, his brown eyes shone like rich pools of dark honey, and on his neck was a distinct beauty mark, a living and portraited class. That was the wedding planner. And the person who broke your heart. Here we are. This is everyone we've got. My sister, her boyfriend, and her friend. Baxter's focus shifted away from the sea views to acknowledge his clients. Seeing the new company, his already heavy-lidded eyes narrowed further. The softness in his smile pinched. Of course, you'd be that delightful older brother of Miranda's. Why wouldn't you be? The vague comment didn't pass Jude for a second. He was incredulous for an instant. What? You know Miranda? Well, no elaboration. He brushed it off with an actual brush of his hair, but Terry caught on the implication and chimed in. Randy, you recognize this guy? He voted in a similar way, unable to commit to denying, but not able to confirm either. You can see the faces of your friends. They huddled together to discuss with Miranda in a way that gave you a clearer view of Baxter. He was demurely scrutinizing the reactions, tapping a finger against his cheek, gauging what to do next. I thought you weren't coming back, he whispered. Baxter's palms cracked against the desk tabletop. He abruptly stood, almost knocking the chair over. It was entirely out of place with the restrained countenance he had always known Baxter to maintain. At his full height, he stepped past the others, and finally, to the last person attending this meeting. You. Baxter stared at your face. He breathed deeply, unsteadily. He unconsciously stepped forward. He flinched helplessly. There was nowhere for him to go. He was backed into a corner. Quite literally. It became disgustingly quiet after the initial explosive reaction. The sounds of the other guests chatting over their meals, the clinking of silverware that was bustled about, it all vanished. Were the people still in the room? It was impossible to tell. You couldn't even move to check. Then the moment passed. Baxter grinned wide and ran his hands down the silky edges of his jacket to smooth it out. A familiar gesture for calming his nerves.
Life is full of unexpected coincidences,
Life is full of unexpected coincidences, I imagine you don't remember, but my name is Baxter Ward. With a casual flip of his wrist, Baxter gave a brief account of your shared history. 5 years ago, I stayed in Sunset Bud for a summer vacation. During a semester off in college, we spent a bit of time together then. By we, I mean 3 of you, along with one other. That was his name, I believe. Miranda gasped. Why he knew her became clear in an instant. You were the B-Man? Yes, I was.
I apologize.
Now, in hopes of starting off on the right foot, let me apologize for my younger self. I was incredibly rude in how we ultimately parted ways.
I understand.
And I understand entirely if this is awkward. Just know that I am open to any ideas on how to accommodate working together. I am fully committed to assuring that Mr. Eckert and Mr. Alden have a wonderful wedding. That is the only reason I'm here. He clocked what Baxter was doing immediately, displacing distance, making this impersonal as possible. Not a hint of warmth or familiarity to be seen in his sharp features, even if he was apologizing for what he did. It was a professional courtesy. Baxter Ward had magically reappeared right in front of you, after 5 years, and he was still completely unreachable.
Huh.
Huh. It was certainly a revelation for the betrothed. Every person they had enlisted to help with the wedding were part of some parts of a social group. Is there a problem with this? Terry, Miranda, Callie? They attempted to prompt a response from all of you.
Huh?
The other normally have a couple in the group shared uneasy answers. It's not like Baxter did anything to me, but
Is that all right?
it's nice of you to say it, though. Their former friendship with Baxter had been tentative. Whether they could accept him or not came down to the one who had vouched for him most originally, and the one who had the hardest time being near him now. You said nothing. You did nothing. You couldn't give any acknowledgement. The palpable tension in the crown's face remained unwarranted. The palpable tension in the crown's face remained an unwanted zone guest. You just couldn't be happy, no matter how hard you tried to swallow your feelings. Luckily, it didn't require you to be scary about the grave task you'd been forced to deal with. You recognize the sacrifices you were willing to make.
Does that work?
You're still available for what we need, Baxter? It's not too much. He's a great planner, if you're wondering, and you'll be only one you've got. And he's the only one you're going to get a week before the wedding. That was the crux of it. Baxter was the last hope for the event. He formally accepted the position in a hushed voice.
Thank you.
Thank you for the praise. I would be glad to. Here. And Baxter coolly moved the conversation along. Considering the topic had nothing to do with his personal life, the better. I've got business cards for you. It has ways to contact me. Email, phone, the usual. Baxter didn't attempt to pass them out directly. Instead, he delicately placed a stack of cards on the table. They were stark white with such a stark white the fancy cloth they rested on looked dingily sleek. The fancy cloth they rested on looked dingy. Sleek black cursive was written across the front. Very formal. Next, Baxter retrieved a sleek black phone from his pocket. Black and white cards and a black phone. It could be a coincidence. Those color choices normally express the lack of interest in displaying any personality, especially with a businessman. Yet, a part of you wondered if it was in reference to the unique way he utilized those shades in the past.
What do you think?
If possible, I could use your numbers. That'd be useful for keeping everyone informed. There's a group chat for the wedding planning. I won't text you privately. You got it, boss. For the second time with Terry. The first for Miranda. Numbers were exchanged with Baxter. Thank you. You should already have my number. It hasn't changed. He said accusingly. You quite effectively subbed his avoidance tactic with that. It was his job to make things easy, not yours. And you wanted to know. Did he delete your contact? It remained a mystery because he refused to get into the weeds. Baxter's plan about Serna wouldn't crack again. Would you mind saying it anyway? That'd be for the best. He said it reluctantly. You can do it, Callie. He's just trying to plan a wedding. He tapped away at the screen as he listed off the sequence before returning the phone into his side jacket.
It's settled.
Thank you for your cooperation. It's settled. One final black and white object appeared from Baxter's pocket. His wallet, which held a green $10 bill, which he put next to the business cards. Please use this for my coffee. I'll take my leave. Closing his eyes, Jude ruffled the mop of curly hair.
Sorry.
Sorry you can't stay. It's cool. Joel mentioned why he wasn't a welcome figure at the dinner, and Baxter smiled at the discretion. We've met. He tugged at his collar over that understatement. Exchanged numbers. The first official planning meeting was arranged before the others arrived. I'll leave you to catch up and discuss your next steps on your own terms. I will see some, or perhaps all of you soon.
Take care.
Have a nice evening. After a polite incline of his head, Baxter slipped out of the corner, threw a gap in the crowd. In only a matter of seconds, he was gone. Again. You almost could have believed that you hallucinated the entire encounter. The floral scent that lingered behind in your mind, that money could have came from anywhere. Maybe Mr. Horton had been nearby. That would have been easier to wrap your head around than the actual reality, except for the piece of undeniable proof. He left business cards. As it said in ink, Baxter Ward, wedding planner. It was a real entity. Miranda and Terry both took one each, for future reference or idle curiosity. I'm gonna go with you kept his number saved even after 5 years. Did he have a new number those days? He put it down on the little piece of cardstock. He picked it up. It was something of his. Your friends remained solemnly silent. You must have heard along your mind, and they were right. However, Scott had his own way of being well-mannered, a much louder way. I knew it was too good to be true to find someone who would do this on such short notice. It was odd, in my opinion.
Did he bully you as a teenager?
Did he bully you as a teenager? It's okay to say so. Of all the conclusions Scott could have come up with, it was an option you hadn't been prepared for. Neither was anyone else. Terry snorted at the concept of Bax being a bully. He cupped his hands over his face, business card covering one eye. This was serious, and he couldn't be laughing. Terry and Miranda remembered how Baxter dumped you after one season and never talked to any of you again. They knew how you felt. They were there. They saw what you went through in his wake firsthand. But you and Baxter clearly didn't grasp the circumstance. Brandy could keep things private. You tell them now. It would be good for everyone to be aware of the whole story. And Baxter is the one who got away. I wanted to stay together. He didn't. That's what he meant by being incredibly rude. He dropped you?
I'm sorry.
Callie, I'm sorry. You shouldn't be treated like that. Thank you. They were great guys. It was reassuring to know that they were on your side. And it made you glad that you could be there for them too. You and Scott deserved the best wedding physically possible. Those mixed up thoughts on Baxter and the past interactions of the present circumstances brought one particular memory to surface in your mind. You can forget that scathing line that he fed to you as part of his rationalization for turning you out cold. You admit how Baxter thought their relationship wouldn't last. Something kind of happened when Baxter was saying things were done between us. He kept talking how it wouldn't be possible. And I actually mentioned the two of you as an example of a long-distance relationship that worked. That's nice.
You didn't have to do that.
You didn't have to do that. The sweethearts did it, unaware of where this was going. Miranda and Terry, who could also hear this conversation, watched on delighted. It increased the awkwardness tenfold. But you were committed to being open, so Baxter brushed it off. That didn't matter because your relationship was probably going to end anyway. And now, he's the one planning your wedding. Their faces... Their smiles dropped immediately, all four of them. What a replay of joy. What replaced joy with varied from shock to horror to justified frustration. Except Terry is apparently maybe also laughing like I am. The hell, dude. Scott pushed up a couple fingers under his thick frames to massage his eyes, sighing the entire time. It's not great knowing he thought we were going to break up, but this means we proved him wrong. That's sort of cool. Jude could only snort at the extremely generous takeaway his fiancée got from that news, and Baxter might have annoyed him, but Scott was too charming to remain angry. We won, and we didn't even know we were playing.
Wow.
Nice work, partner. Seeing those two happy together was a relief. Though, you always knew no one wouldn't get in that way. Of all the many things Baxter was wrong about, Jude and Scott were one of the best. We should focus on the wedding, though. What happened in the past doesn't mean you have to put your plans aside. You're sure? Yeah. I'm here to help. Let me know how. Yes, I did. Jude put a hand on your shoulder. Can I please read for once English? Jude put a hand on his shoulder, and Scott was able to accept your words.
You're sure?
Then, and that's what I'll do. So before you made it, me, Jude, and Baxter decided to meet up tomorrow morning. He had an appointment in his office all penciled in. I'd like you to be there too, if you can. Tomorrow morning.
Sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Ward recommended it. That way, there would be as much time as possible afterwards to make what was planned to happen. Sorry to spring it on you. It was Baxter's idea?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's got a point. It's not like we've got time to lose. How would that go? You had to wonder. What happened last time you tried to do something early with Baxter appeared as clear as morning sky in your mind's eye? Of course, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be there. Aye aye. Right, that's fine with me. This was a special moment to the people who mattered to you. It was a point to try to be a small part of it. Then Miranda kindly pointed out how this is a get-together. Then Miranda kindly pointed out how this get-together was in a restaurant, and could still be used for resident purposes. It was a much appreciated suggestion. We spent the next few minutes focused entirely on what delicious meal to have. No steaks, no brushes. The waiter returned. Each person put in a request for dinner, and that was it. Menus were taken away, and you only needed to wait. In the relative privacy of the back corner table, Harry solidly dropped his fist on the table, as if calling a meeting.
Nah.
Baxter wasn't wearing black and white. I never thought I'd see the day.
Wow.
Baxter's a wedding planner? Miranda blurted out her non-sequitur with equal amazement. I wouldn't have guessed that, considering his own way of managing relationships. He murmured. Damn. A grown man would have dropped dead in the restaurant if he said that 5 minutes ago. He got a playful nudge in the courtesy of his girlfriend. Anyway, I'm so happy it's almost your wedding. Dying shyly and building up more cheer, Miranda attempted to express happiness for her big brother and his soon-to-be husband.
So great.
It's so great.
Thanks.
Thanks, Randy. Oh, and thank you, Miranda.
Agreed.
That's right, it's time to celebrate. Congrats, my man, another man. Man. Even though the final destination was many miles away, it was still shining on the horizon. You make it there. You're certain of it. Cheers to the couple. The conversation was abuzz with excitement for the event to come. For now, anything sounded possible. Food soon arrived, and the topic switched again. You brought up how things were going with each other overall, how your trip went, and all things beside the opaque man who left earlier. Being surrounded by friends was exactly what you needed, even if you could never have guessed why when you first got back. When the meal was over, goodbyes exchanged, Harry and Miranda had to go back to their apartment, while Jude and Scott were taking you back to their house. The party planning committee broke into two teams. After Terry was talked out of giving special coordinates to the group, with the promise of reuniting early the next day. Tomorrow morning, the work would officially begin. At the house, your host gave you space to finish learning your things, as pre-tasted anyway. In reality, you had sensitive feelings with adultery. As the living room, I'm covering a potted plant, I know, but it's kind of funny how it looks like the plant's stuck in my head. You tugged your clothes from the suitcase in a total haze. It was dark outside, and the indoor artificial lighting blurred around the corners of your eyes. Eventually, your phone lit up, plugging it off the side table where it had been charging. Checked to see what came in. It was the wrong group chat. Baxter had messaged you, but of course. Also, Miranda and Terry. You and Scott could see it as well, of course. They were the original members. Hello, welcome to the Flying Job all. This is Baxter. Thank you for assisting with the wedding prep. Our first meeting is tomorrow, 9 a.m. You can order text. So cool if anything comes up or if the appointment isn't possible. See you soon. That short stream of text ended with copy and paste of exact address for his office. It was pleasantly detached, as you'd expect from a stranger you'd met briefly once. In the context of him providing a service for momentary compensation. Too bad. That wasn't the relationship you had. It could be ignored, no erased. You hadn't even tried. You kept his number off, and after all this time, it appeared again. Baxter's contact hadn't changed. It was exactly the same. It was the exact same one you'd got in summer of 2016. You still had a history together. Your fingers began to move before your conscious mind had caught up with what was happening. You opened the old logs. The last time Baxter texted you personally was 5 years ago. Seeing the most recent message was stinging. It was during that absolutely unexpected trip to the mountain he let you join in on. I'm downstairs. Was the final line he ever sent. It had been quite the night. Baxter snuck out of the lobby and let you share in a private moment. For a time, it was like you and him were the only two people in the world. You felt like you'd seen who he really was in the light of the fireplace. It hurt so much because the truth was, you still wanted to be with Baxter. You let out a long, slow breath, then dropped the phone. It was impossible to get away from the black and white boy in your memories, or the person who currently existed. The phone was said to seem in less than 12 hours. He was gone. And there he was. He was gone and he was there. The Baxter Ward was simply an inexorable part of your life. You called your big sister to talk about what had happened. From an entirely abandoned contact to one of your most frequently used numbers, you hit Liz's name on your phone. Big sisters were made for moments like these. There's plenty to think about the seconds as the dark time played. You wouldn't be attending the wedding. Miranda was your friend, and only acquaintance of hers. And she never met Jude or Scott in person. Liz had no idea what was going on over here, and never would unless you said so. And so you would. Your screen changed. She answered.
Hey.
Hey, kiddo! Was the sound of a sore ears, even if she came right out the gates with teasing you. You survived your journey. That's good to know. Yes, you're welcome. Hey, Liz. She laughed, and you could easily imagine her tossing her head back. Well, how's it going? That pleasantry was a more complicated question than she knew. It was going, that was for sure. I bet you got straight to the core point. Jude and Scott, the couple I'm helping, hired a wedding planner, and it's Baxter Ward. You expressed as much as your fraud emotions as possible in a strained statement. Her answer was a single, flat word. Who? That Victorian emo boy who loved you?
Really?
That weirdo? He's a wedding planner now? Yes. He processed this over for a silent minute, and concluded it was acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess you would want to attend Well, I guess who else would want to spend their time absorbed in the fanciest of life events than a guy who acted like every day was a grand ball? Are you going to be okay? It's a long time, but there's no deadline for getting over counts like him. Or would it be more appropriate to say mimes because of the black and white look? A snort shot out of your face. You knew calling that was a good idea. Thanks. I think I'll be fine. But he wasn't wearing black and white. Alright. I regret not getting an invitation to that wedding. I ought to be there for this. It would have been nice having you around. Yes, it would. You two siblings spent more time chatting, but eventually had to wrap things up. You had an early morning on the horizon. After a playful bye, kiddo, Liz ended the call. You placed the phone down for good. I'd been tempted to make another call, but you needed to get into bed. Rest was priority, and it had been an eventful day enough. Rest was the priority. It had been an eventful enough day already. You finished your trip there. You came to face with Baxter Ward after 5 years. And the real work hadn't even started yet. At 8:45 the next morning, the wedding team of 5 was crowded into Baxter's office. Crowded was the word. The first challenge your team faced was where to exactly sit. The single focus over the couch and scattered office chairs with someone with the desks were available options. But this place was not made for a group of people. But considering it hosted couples, you can complain. Jude, Scott, and Miranda sat in a row Jude and Miranda sat in a row, snug on the couch like peas in a pod. Randy's legs were crossed over the cushion, so there was room for Terry on the ottoman.